This woman secretly signed her name on toilet paper as a mark, because she suspected her black nanny, Minnie, of using the bathroom in their house without permission. One day, it was pouring rain outside. Minnie couldn't make it to the black-only restroom that was 2 miles away. She made an excuse to get some tea and quietly sneaked upstairs to the toilet. She opened the toilet lid as stealthily as a thief, afraid to make a sound. However, she was still discovered by Anna, who was so furious that she threatened to break the door down.
Get off my toilet!
Anna immediately fired Minnie, who had worked in this household for many years. Minnie was cruelly evicted in the pouring rain. The day after Minnie was dismissed, Anna spread rumors everywhere, saying that she was immoral and had stolen her belongings, which resulted in no one daring to hire Minnie. Minnie also suffered domestic violence from her husband as a result. With no other options, Minnie had to bring a pie she had made to Anna. Was she there to apologize? The maid dared to make the employer eat a pie with feces inside. Minnie was fired just for using her employer's toilet. Anna, looking at her favorite pie, allowed Minnie to enter. She enjoyed the pie while humiliating Minnie with insults. Anna also mentioned that Minnie could return, but her monthly salary would be $10 less. She also had to work 2 more hours each day. This was extreme exploitation. Looking at this delicious pie, Anna's mother also wanted to taste it. However, she was stopped by Minnie. Minnie claimed that it was specially made for Anna. Anna was annoyed and asked Minnie to fetch another plate. The pent-up anger in Minnie finally became too much to bear.
Eat my shit.
Anna thought Minnie had gone crazy for speaking like that to her. Minnie explained that the pie was so delicious because she added her feces. What? There's feces inside? Anna immediately felt disgusted and ran to the bathroom to vomit. Minnie left happily, and Anna quickly found a new maid, Hazel. She treated Hazel with the same lack of kindness. This maid suffered discrimination. Anna continuously withheld her wages. Recently, Hazel's 2 sons got into college. She and her partner scraped together what they could, but were still short $75 for the tuition. They wanted Anna to pay some of her wages. When Hazel began to ask, Anna interrupted her. Not only did she refuse to pay her, but she also ridiculed her. She said, "I hired you to work here because I was doing you a favor. How dare you shamelessly ask for money?" Hazel could only remain silent. One day, while cleaning the house, Hazel found a ring hidden behind the sofa. Although she knew it was wrong, she decided to keep the ring to help pay her son's tuition. However, as soon as she got out of the bus, she was apprehended by the police. They did not allow her to explain herself or others to contact her family. Hazel resisted and said, "I want to have my wallet back." But the police didn't give her a chance to escape and used force to subdue her. Friends nearby advised her not to resist, and the police subjected the maid to a violent beating while holding her down on the car. Anna, who witnessed this from a distance, displayed nothing but indifference. The bystanders remained apathetic. These 2 individuals suffered unfair treatment for various reasons. Why would there be racial discrimination? The phenomenon of racial discrimination was prevalent in the United States during the 1960s. White people didn't share bathrooms with black people, because white people believed that black people carried viruses with them. Bathrooms for black people were located in remote areas, sometimes requiring long walks for 2 miles. When it rained, black people had no choice but to endure the discomfort. Additionally, some white individuals drafted the Family Hygiene Initiative. It required all white households to provide separate bathrooms for their black nannies. This might have appeared as a form of respect, but it was rooted in the belief that black workers were carriers of bacteria and germs. It was so warm in those bathrooms that black housekeepers were covered in sweat. They held very low social status. Black housekeepers had to do all the chores and work 6 days a week. However, they were only paid for $182. Minnie's friend, Arlene, was also a nanny. She came from a family with 3 generations of serving white families. Arlene excelled at taking care of children and could keep them calm and content. She spent more time with the children she cared for than their biological mothers did. The children even said,
"You're my real mama."
Though Arlene single-handedly raised 17 white children, her children were left at home to be taken care of by others. Despite this situation, her female employer was still dissatisfied with her. She would take every chance she saw to punish her. This employer was truly racist. When Arlene's son was involved in a car accident, the employer showed no concern and simply left him there. This led to the son missing the crucial time for medical treatment. Arlene had to witness her son passing away in her arms. Since that tragic event, Arlene developed a deep resentment towards white people, but she had no choice but to endure it silently. Allison, who received a higher education, was also raised by a black nanny. The nanny cared about her more than her own mother did. Whenever Allison felt sad or upset, the nanny would comfort her. The nanny even thoughtfully recorded Allison's height throughout time. In Allison's eyes, the nanny had become like family. However, when Allison's mother became a congresswoman, She looked down on the nanny, considering her clumsy. When the nanny's daughter came to congratulate Allison's family, Allison's mother did not let her in and swept the nanny out of the house. Later, when Allison's mother wanted to have the nanny back, it was already too late. The nanny had taken her own life in her home. This news was devastating for Allison. She decided she couldn't stand for such tragedies anymore. So, she resolved to write a book advocating for social justice for Black people. She reached out to Arlene, hoping that Arlene would agree to be interviewed. After some hesitation, Arlene invited Minnie. The three of them spent the entire night talking about their years of tragic. Racial discrimination was once incredibly severe. A female journalist wrote a news article about racial discrimination. After submitting the initial draft to her editor, she was very pleased with it. The story that employers did not allow Black housekeepers to use toilets was published in the newspaper. The next morning, Anna's property was filled with old toilets. This was a symbol of the silent protest of Black people. However, on that same night, a Black individual was shot. It seemed like white people were declaring themselves as the true rulers of the city. This incident frightened the Black population, who scattered and fled. Arlene, in her fear, collapsed and had to run to Minnie's house for refuge. Minnie was shocked upon hearing the news, realizing that they could be the next victims. If their interview with Allison was discovered, they would surely meet a gruesome fate. Two unfortunate individuals could only hold onto each other tightly. However, this made them realize that they would always be seen as inferior by white people. No matter what they did, if they didn't unite together, the next victim could be themselves. So, they decided to stand up for themselves, no matter the cost. Journalist Allison published a news article about racial discrimination. When she returned home, she was shocked by the scene. Many Black people were in her living room, willing to share their own stories. If I would dare to use the white man's toilet, they would fire me. This woman was going to switch her job. However, others had already seen her as a slave of her employer. Listening to these stories deeply saddened Allison. After organizing and compiling these stories, they were turned into a book titled The Help. The book had 266 pages. In the final chapter, Allison added her own story. This book made a significant impact, sparking a wave of interest upon its release. In the hospital, in the supermarkets, people were reading this book everywhere. Not only white people, but Black people gathered together to read this book. Allison distributed the royalties she received from the book evenly among the storytellers. Everyone was given $46. Anna also bought the book and read it. When she read about the incident involving eating feces, she became furious. Although the book used pseudonyms, she recognized herself in the story. She immediately drove to Allison's house. She threatened to find a lawyer and sue her for defamation. This employer always mistreated her housekeepers. She fired a housekeeper for simply using the toilet in the house. That housekeeper became angry and made a pie of feces. She pretended to visit her employer to apologize in order to make her eat the pie. This incident found its way into the book written by journalist Allison. Anna was infuriated and decided to confront Allison's mother. She exposed Allison's involvement in writing the book. However, it turned out that Allison's mother had already read the book. In the face of the enraged employer, Allison's mother did not mince her words. She told her,
"You've been eating too much pie."
Then she promptly sent her away. Allison's mother calmly reflected on the situation. She realized that she had made a mistake in the past. However, she was proud of her daughter for what she had done. After the publication of the book, Minnie found a new employer, Mary. Minnie had often experienced discrimination from white people. When she met her new employer, Mary, for the first time, she was warmly welcomed. Mary had just one request: don't let her husband know Minnie worked as a housekeeper in their home. Mary was a warm-hearted person who treated people without discrimination. She offered Minnie a cold cola. Looking at the messy kitchen, Mary was afraid that Minnie might find it off-putting. Mary said carefully, "It looks like I have a lot to learn." She showed Minnie around their yard. Upon learning that Minnie was willing to stay, Mary excitedly hugged her. She warmly invited her into the house. Mary only knew how to make cornbread. Minnie patiently taught her how to make fried chicken using butter. They worked together as a team. Minnie coated the chicken legs in flour, and Mary shook it evenly. They had a seamless collaboration. Mary didn't adhere to the racial hierarchy that often divided Black and white people. She automatically sat across from Minnie, but Minnie disagreed. Mary firmly stated, "I want to eat at the same table with you." Mary was grateful for Minnie's help without hiding it. She even considered intentionally overcooking the chicken, to avoid her husband suspecting something. As Minnie observed the endearing Mary, she gradually let down her guard. This woman surprisingly had a miscarriage. Mary locked herself in the bathroom. She asked Minnie to go home. Minnie was worried and entered the bathroom directly. Then she discovered that Mary had accidentally fallen and ended up in a miscarriage. Minnie stayed by her side and offered comfort. She assured Mary that she could wait for the next baby. However, Mary revealed that she had already experienced 2 miscarriages before. At this point, Mary had completely embraced Minnie as a confidant. She shared this deeply personal information with her. Even her husband was unaware of this. On a day when Minnie came to work as usual, she didn't expect Mary's husband to return home. Minnie was deeply afraid of Mary's husband. It was because racial discrimination used to be severe in the United States. Minnie dropped her things and bolted. She thought that Mary's husband was going to harm her. She picked up a stick from the ground to defend herself. She warned Mary's husband to not come any closer. To her surprise, he reassured her that he had no ill intentions. It turned out that he had known about Minnie's presence for a while. Thanks to Minnie, he had delicious lunchboxes every day. He was also able to wear sharp suits. He had been wanting to find an opportunity to thank her in person. Minnie dropped the stick and said, "Why didn't you say so earlier? You scared me." He picked up Minnie's bag and walked into the house with her. Mary had prepared a table full of food. The couple wanted to express their gratitude to Minnie. Mary's husband even suggested that Minnie could stay in the house as long as she liked. He pulled out a chair for her, and Mary presented her with food. Minnie never experienced this level of respect before. The actions of the couple gave Minnie the courage to leave her abusive husband. The community members learned about what Arlene and Minnie had done. Everyone applauded them wholeheartedly. They even signed their names in the book. Allison also achieved great success thanks to the book. She even received a work invitation from the New York Times. More and more people have started abandoning racial discrimination. They realize that all humans are fundamentally one body. It is unjust to divide people based on their skin color, as we are all born equal. While we cannot force others not to discriminate, we can set an example by not viewing people with a bias. May the world be free from war and racial discrimination, and everything will get better. This film is called The Help. We truly hope that there will be no war on earth and everyone receives equal rights. The question for today is, do you have people who exhibit racial discrimination around you? If yes, please comment 111. If not, please comment 222. This is a great film. Recommend watching the original movie. This concludes the film today. Please remember to like and subscribe. We will see you next time. Bye.